Hello, this is Sam Santiago, and I am your host for Passion and Purpose Online Summit. And with us, we have Charlotte Leo. Hello, Charlotte.
Hello.
Good to have you with us. Thank you for joining us, and thank you also to the audience that's with us for this special VIP Q&A session. So, Charlotte, you had the opportunity to address the audience through a regular speaking session earlier today, but what we'd like to do now actually is to dig a little bit deeper into Charlotte, into her passion, her purpose, how you got there. We have a few questions that we have received from the team and also from other audience members that would like to ask you and just develop a little bit of a conversation. Just imagine that we have literally a room full of people listening to your great advice and great insights on how to find your passion and pursue your purpose. We'll do that through a few questions, as I mentioned. So let's go ahead and get started and share with the audience. Charlotte is the Assistant Vice President of Business Relations at Advantial Federal Credit Union in Dallas. She brings to that industry 13 years of experience promoting the use of credit unions nationally, teaching personal money management, presenting business development strategies at the industry conferences, and consulting with credit unions of various sizes globally. Charlotte has a BA in Mass Communications from Texas Wesleyan University and an MBA from Texas Women's University. And in addition to that, she serves in other various volunteer roles, including serving on the Dallas HR Board of Directors. The Dallas HR is the largest Society for Human Resources Management chapter in the state of Texas. And in this role, she's very busy, along with many other volunteers, putting together events of value for the HR community, some of the largest events actually in the state of Texas. So great to have you with us, Charlotte. We'll start then after that brief introduction. We've talked a little bit about what you do professionally. Please feel free to add anything you might want to add to that. And then tell us a little bit more about Charlotte from a personal perspective.
Sure, I'd be glad to. Just adding to that, it's kind of funny. People ask me what I do, and I'm like, well, my paying gig is I work for this company, but my volunteer job sometimes runs my life a little more. But my employer is very supportive. I'm very blessed in that, and to support my activities in what gives me energy and my passion. In my personal life, I am married 12 years. I have two beautiful kids. My princess is 3, and my princess is 7, and my prince is 3. And it's a very busy house, very busy. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
All right. We can imagine you're very, very busy, but that's typically people that accomplish things in life. They tend to stay very busy, and they also tend to surround themselves with those that make them happy and love them very much. So I think that you have that part taken care of. So tell us a little bit about your journey. Obviously, you have all these years in the industry, and along the way, it seems like you have found ways, whether they're related to the industry that you're in or not, to find your passion and to pursue a purpose. How did you get there? If you can share with the audience a little bit more about that.
My career, like most people, has taken some twists that maybe I didn't expect, but have been pretty intentional. I think the way that it's brought me, though, to identify and pursue really what I'm passionate about has been just this really exciting opportunity to, I don't want to say practice under, but be mentored by some really great thought leaders that have really expanded my outlook on life and just really contributed to my personal development in a way that you can't get just from doing a job, So I've been very fortunate.
So it evidently has been a combination of several different factors, both connected to your career, connected to your education, obviously connected to your family. So it's been sort of all those little pieces put together that have brought you to where you are today.
Right.
All right. So talking about all those different factors that have influenced your journey and that have catapulted to where you are today, you obviously had the opportunity to share during the regular session information about the 5 ways, or the 5 life lessons, as we also call them, to find your passion and to pursue your purpose. For the benefit of those that will be joining the VIP session, would you please share those 5 life lessons again?
Sure. Do you want details, or do you want just bullet points?
You can go into as much detail as you'd like to. Absolutely.
Good. Well, my first life lesson was that one plus one doesn't always do. You can't judge somebody based on their title or what you think they do. When you meet somebody, severely limit yourself to do that. Sometimes seeming in my life, I have met that on the surface, I thought nothing to benefit me professionally or personally. And if I was forced to get to know them, it expanded my outlook on what they have to offer me in limitless ways. So don't be confined by a title or, like I said, what you think somebody can do for you. When you meet people, be all in to find out what makes them unique and special, and for the journey of what they might be able to teach you. Expand your network however you can. 1 plus 1 sometimes equals 3. So that's my first life lesson. My second life lesson is that financial management and financial education is critical to a person's success. If you don't have your finances right and in line, and again, this is irrespective of how much income you have, everybody is commanded to be good stewards of their money. And it can be crippling to a person. They cannot excel in any other part of their life despite their best efforts if their finances are dragging them down. So that would be an encouragement to people to get that one right, get that under control, and know where your income comes from, know where your outflow's at, be prepared for unexpected expenses, and to experience the freedom that will bring to you. I can't even express what a difference it makes if you're under a different situation where you don't have that. So my third life lesson is done is better than perfect. Perfectionists, people young in their career that think that everything they do, everyone's going to read every syllable of, are sorely mistaken, and they waste a lot of time trying to make everything 110%. Don't get me wrong, I think you need to put out a good product, but if you are constantly toiling over one project, you are limiting yourself from getting freed up to be able to accept other projects. And so get it 80% there, get it 90% there, and deliver it. It might be good enough, and you can accept the next project. If it gets kicked back to you, continue to work on it. But you're spinning your wheels if perfect is all that you're willing to turn in. So done is better than perfect. Life lesson number 4 is there is no such thing as work-life balance. In my experience, I am in a constant imbalance, and I think that is everyone's situation if they were really truthful with themselves. And so if you will accept that balance doesn't exist, and to be out of balance is okay. If you are out of balance on one side or the other, work or life, the majority of the time, that's not the ideal situation either. But if you tip the scales in both directions on a regular basis, accept that that's the right place to be, and you can enjoy both sides of that coin so much more. Your work life you will enjoy more, and your personal life you will enjoy more if you're okay with it being out of balance sometimes. And number 5, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. So if whatever your dream is, whatever you think your dream is, if you see it as attainable and something I can achieve tomorrow, and it would be great, but it doesn't frighten me that this could actually happen, not big enough. Stretch yourself farther. Dream something bigger is my challenge. So those are my 5 life lessons.
Okay. So I personally like the scary dreams one.
Yeah.
Of course, that's not exactly the way you put it, but that's the way I have it in my head. You know, scary dreams. Scary dreams are good. So they're not nightmares. They just scare you a little bit. So that's my favorite one. Do you have, out of the five life lessons, any particular one that stands out that you feel that has really been more of a pillar in your life, or maybe in the life of others that have practiced it or put it into practice?
For me, in the station of life that I am in right now, as a working mom of 2 small kids, a wife, you know, all these, I have aging parents that we care for, and in-laws, and for me, there's no such thing as work-life balance. When I got okay with that and accepted that as just a norm, it was extremely freeing to me, that it's okay to live in that place. So.
All right. So that's a very good point, and I think that a great segue actually to my next question. So you're talking about work-life balance and how a bit of a myth that really can be in the life of certain individuals. You know, maybe some people feel like they do have a bit of a balance in their lives, and some don't. Would you say that maybe living life is a better way to express that? And if you feel that living life, whatever that means, what actually would that mean to you?
That's a great way to put it. Living life, work is part of my life. Work is that piece of it. So if you just look at it as living life, and my family is part of my life, and my friends are part of my life, and work is just one aspect of my life, I think that's a really cognizant place to be and a reality for you. But there's going to be times when work is the majority of your life, and there's seasons in your life that is the case. And if you feel drained and out of balance for long periods of time in that direction, I think that's your main clue. If it's energy draining rather than energy creating for you, then you need to give a little more look at that.
Good point. So just keep an eye on energy creating rather than energy draining, and then if it's not feeling quite right, then you have to do something different. All right, so you mentioned something earlier in our conversation that had to do with having been mentored. So now I want to switch roles for you for just a moment. If you had someone to mentor right this moment, how would you guide them on getting started in living life?
Wow, that's a tough one. There are several things that, for me, living life can take on lots of different facets, and I guess it would depend on if I was mentoring them in a personal or professional way. But from a professional standpoint, I'm relentlessly pursuing development, personal development. What does that look like? What's unique about Charlotte? How do I operate? What's my best fit? And so I think pursuing every opportunity to take assessments about yourself, to learn what makes you tick, learn how you communicate with others. If you're given the opportunity to participate in those, take them. Learn as much as you can. It's only going to help you. The other piece of that is good leaders know that they have a toolbox to draw from. Great leaders know which tool to use in which scenario. They knew what tool to use out of their toolbox in any given scenario. So it's one thing to learn skills about how to communicate with certain color people or certain personality types and things that you learn from that. But knowing which tool to use when is a different skill altogether. So that would be my advice.
All right. So along those same lines of mentoring and helping younger individuals, take a look at what's going on in their lives, in some cases, these individuals may know what their passion is, but they're sort of waiting on the sidelines for the right moment to take action on that passion. Is that something you would recommend? How would you encourage someone to actually take action on their passion?
I think, in my experience, I say it all the time, timing is everything. So they may have a great idea, or they may have this desire to pursue something bigger than what they have right now, but if the timing's not right, then they're going to be spinning their wheels, and it will be extremely frustrating to them. So I think you just know when you meet that right person that the puzzle pieces fall into place, follow it, take that momentum and roll with it. But if you're just hitting roadblocks everywhere you turn, maybe the timing isn't right. Sometimes I think it is okay to sit still and wait for that tide to turn.
Good, very good point. Thank you. So tell us a little bit more about some of the things that you're passionate about, but really from the perspective of how did you even get involved with them? So, you can talk about all of them, you can talk about just a few of them, but maybe just taking that step and getting involved, because I know that that's one thing that our audience would appreciate learning a little bit more about.
Getting involved in things that you're purposely passionate about?
Yes. In your particular case, if you have any examples of some of the things that you're personally passionate about and how you got connected to taking action there.
Absolutely. So for me, it was finding the right fit of what gave me energy, but also fulfilled me. So in my experience, you highlighted, I'm a leader in a trade organization locally. I got involved with that organization out of professional, but I had to find what made sense to me within that organization. And so for me, I plugged into the community medicine committee, because that's where I wanted to give back. That resonated with me. I didn't want to do government affairs. I didn't want to do membership. I wanted to do the give back piece of it, the community relations. And so I just started volunteering. I said, I want to set up events in our community. And from there, I came and met people, and they asked me to take on other and to explore other things. So years later, I found myself. So it was just doing it. It was just stepping out into it and finding what felt like a right fit, and having other people to guide me into natural next steps.
All right, good, thank you. So some individuals find that in their lives, in order for them to be more productive and to be more organized or whatever they're trying to accomplish, they have what some call rituals, things that they do on a consistent basis. We sometimes call them routines, whatever we want to call them. Do you believe in rituals, routines, following certain steps all the time to keep pace, keep yourself organized? And if you do, what do you do? What do you do that it's your daily routine that you can share with the audience?
What's so funny is that I hold very tight to, I want my kids to have a routine and a ritual, and the things that they do, the same bedtime every day, we eat at the same time, that sort of thing. But for me, personally, every day beats to its own drum. So depending from what time I wake up and what time I have to be at a client meeting to what time I get home at night to if I eat lunch or not, every day has a different rhythm for me. But for my kids, it's very important to me that their routine stays the same every day. So whatever that looks like, they may go to bed at the same time every day, but it may be somebody different putting them to bed, you know? So in some ways, there is a lot of routine in my life, and in other ways, personally, every day is as it comes, you know?
Well, it seems like creative people definitely need, and people that are in positions of leadership definitely need a different challenge every day and to do things differently every day. But it's easier, it also sounds like, because it seems like this is now a trend with a few people that I've had an opportunity to talk to recently, that it's easier also for them to set routines for others to follow. Obviously, in the case of the children, they have no choice, so we completely understand. All right. Question about taking you back a little bit to the beginnings of your career. What did you wish you had known when you were starting out as a young professional?
I think this elusive thing that people call networking. Lots of people say, oh, network, it's all about your network, build your network. What is that? And how do you do it? I think I understand it a lot better now, but at the time, it's like somebody was calling something the cloud. You know, what is that? Yeah, how can you touch it? Networking, what is that? So I wish I had a mentor very young in my career that went with me to events or went with me to business meetings and introduced me and connected the dots for me to say, this person knows this person, and you need to meet them. So just facilitating what that looks like and saying, that's what networking is. Because for me, it was kind of confusing for a while until it started happening naturally, and this light bulb goes off, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing it. I didn't mean to do it, but I'm doing it. So I think that that's a catchphrase and a buzzword that's used a lot out there, but it's maybe a little misunderstood of how to do it well.
All right. And what's the best advice you've ever gotten? And in this case, we don't have to go as far back as the beginning of your career, but if you were to think back at some of the advice that you've received that you would like to share with the audience, what would that be?
I think the one about a great leader knows what tool to use when, to pull out of their toolbox, but also this notion of being true to yourself, and that if you're in a position that is constantly in your career, that you are constantly stressed out and maybe think like a rubber band, like your rubber band is stretched all the time, it's not your natural fit, maybe you're not in the right position. And I know it frustrates me actually, a lot of young professionals, people that are new, just coming into their career, that if it doesn't feel right to them, then they're ready to jump ship in 2 months, a month, 6 weeks, you know, oh, this isn't the right position for me. That makes me laugh. I'm talking, give it some time, give it a couple of years. It may not be the right position for you, but if you haven't given it a chance to figure that out, you're not doing anybody justice. So know when is the right time to get out and trust your gut on that, but at least give it some leeway, a year, 2 years, to really make an informed decision.
Okay, good point. So not being in the right position is sometimes one of those curveballs that life, throws at you. We know that not everything is a path of roses, whether it's in your personal life or your professional life or a combination of both. So how do you typically, or what would you recommend that people approach whatever situation they may have that could be similar to, or could be actually a curveball? There is a challenge, something is not going quite right. What would you recommend?
Wow, in life there's always going to be something unexpected that happens. It keeps life interesting, right? So when life throws you these curveballs, I think the first thing is just accepting it for what it is. Nobody could have foreseen this. It happened to me, though, and now what do I do with it? What's my next step? Instead of, I've seen people just become devastated and crippled by and taken off guard by these curveballs that happen. So it lends to resiliency, it lends to being flexible, but I guess just in anticipating that that could happen on any given day, life could throw you this curveball, and being able to acknowledge it, acknowledge that it's there, it's the elephant in the room, whatever it is, but now what? Now what do I do with it? And be able to move to that next step of progress through it.
All right. Well, now we've come almost to the end of our questions and actually our time together. So let's share with our audience a really good answer for one last question. Is there anyone or anything that inspires you?
Wow. My faith, obviously. I am inspired by my faith in God and what I believe. I don't know if it's a really great answer, but obviously my kids inspire me to want to be better, whatever that looks like, just better, to be a role model, that kind of thing. Wow, I'm inspired by lots of things. I'm inspired by my staff whenever I see growth in them and progress that they've made. I think part of just being appreciative of life is being able to be inspired by lots of little things. And I think I'm inspired by being able to appreciate those really regular, normal days. The days when nothing catastrophic happened, nothing broke on your vehicle, everyone got home safe. It was just a regular day, and being able to be in awe of today was a great day. That was a great day. A normal day is, in my world, is a great day. So I don't know if it's a great answer, but all those things inspire me.
I think that my favorite part of the answer was getting inspired by a normal day. I love it. I don't know exactly what that looks like in your life. I think that obviously it's very different for everybody in their lives. So in any case, thank you so much, Charlotte. I really appreciate you taking the time. You're a busy professional, you're a busy mother, you're a busy wife, sister, cousin, friend, confidant, and many of the things that you are to many people. We really appreciate your time, and to our audience for the Passion and Purpose Online Summit. Thank you again for joining us. Please keep connected to www.passionandpurposesummit.com for more information, for more presentations. We have more live presentations coming up over the next 2 days. We continue tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, and the 25th all the way through the 28th with 4 sessions a day. You can find the schedules and more information about the summit on the web, www.passionandpurposesummit.com. Thank you again, Charlotte. Thank you again for our audience for joining us. And thank you. We'll see you next time.